Welcome back, fight fans. Today we're deep diving into the most electrifying stories emerging from the UFC, zooming in on UFC 319 and the major ripple effects it's casting across the MMA landscape. From Khamzat Chimaev's headline-making statements and his showdown for gold, to Chael Sonnen's take on the ultimate rematch that never was, through to major commentary shakeups and the escalation of drama in the lightweight division with Paddy Pimblett, every piece of news swings the spotlight back on why this sport continues to capture global fascination. Let's break down the most important developments, sorted from the biggest headline to the hottest up-and-comer, so you stay ahead of the curve, whether you're making fight picks, running your own commentary channel, or just love the drama as deeply as the sport. Chimaev rejects retirement. Eyes on UFC 319, gold and beyond. As UFC 319 barrels toward the United Center in Chicago, the central question swirling around the event is not just who will walk out with the middleweight belt, but whether this might mark the end of an era for one of MMA's most dynamic stars. Ever since the fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Dricus du Plessis was announced, rumors have dogged the Chechen-born talent, suggesting he could retire if he bags the title. These rumors, triggered by speculation from other fighters and fueled by social media, lit up discussion boards and podcasts for weeks. But in the days leading up to the bout, Chimaev silenced the noise with trademark directness.
So I need money, bro. This is not enough, right? Just to go for the one title. So I hopefully, if not get some injury or some stuff, they're gonna fight for defend the belt or fight for other belt in Abu Dhabi as well.
From interviews to pressers, Chimaev has made it clear he's nowhere close to hanging up his gloves. I need money, bro. This is not enough just to go for the one title. Hopefully, if I don't get injured or some stuff, I'm gonna defend the belt or fight for another belt in Abu Dhabi as well, Chimaev said, pointing to an ambition to become historic, possibly by targeting belts across 3 weight divisions. For Chimaev, the journey is just hitting stride, a sentiment reinforced by his ongoing call-outs, naming potential future opponents up and down the weight classes, from welterweight Jack Della Maddalena to potential showdowns with current light heavyweight stars. Add to this his recent navigation of visa challenges. Chimaev's presence at UFC 319 is a story of persistence and adaptation as much as dominance. He openly cited changes in US policy, easing his return, reinforcing his resolve to battle through every obstacle in his path. His camp has made no secret that the road to UFC 319 has been anything but smooth, yet the payoff is a main event, with the eyes of the world locked in. As the MMA world waits for the bell, the key takeaway is clear. Chimaev's focus is fixed on legacy, not an exit. Expect fireworks as he and du Plessis headline possibly the most hyped card of the summer. Sonnen's spotlight, the lost Khabib versus McGregor rematch. Pivoting from the present to the biggest what if in UFC history, analyst and former fighter Chael Sonnen reignited a long smoldering debate. Why did we never get Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor 2? For hardcore fans and casuals alike, this rematch was always more than a booking. It was lightning in a bottle. UFC 229, the site of their first clash, drew massive pay-per-view numbers and sent shockwaves through pop culture. Yet, the encore never materialized. Sonnen's argument, it was all about the numbers, but not the ones on a paycheck. He points straight at weight classes, suggesting that UFC's insistence on keeping the showdown at 155 pounds effectively torpedoed any chance at a second fight. In Sonnen's view,
the reason we didn't get Khabib versus Conor Part 2, and the UFC changed all the numbers, and it goes from 2 million to 4 million, they changed all the numbers. They didn't look at the right number. If they would have made that 170 pounds as opposed to 155 pounds, they would have gotten that fight. But the number one reason people retire, they just got faced with this with Islam. It's like, look, you can cut Islam's career short like you did Khabib's, or you can let him go up to 170. But he's not going to beat that scale over and over and over again. It's the hardest part of the sport.
Had Dana White and matchmakers agreed to a 165-pound super fight, or even allowed both stars to clash at welterweight, the bout could have been greenlit. This would have extended Khabib's career and brought McGregor back into perfect crosshairs. The reason we didn't get Khabib versus Conor 2 is they didn't look at the right number. If they would have made that 170 pounds as opposed to 155 pounds, they would have gotten that fight, Sonnen said, lamenting a missed opportunity popularity born of organizational rigidity rather than lack of star power or audience appetite. For fans, this analysis stings. Not only could a simple change in division have led to one of the biggest fights in combat sports history, but it may have allowed Khabib to extend his unbeaten reign, avoiding the grueling weight cuts that contributed to his decision to retire at 29-0. As things stand, UFC 229 remains a moment frozen in time, with Sonnen's critique feeding the ongoing nostalgia and debate about what might have been had the business side allowed for more flexibility. Rogan returns, Poirier joins the booth, UFC 319 commentary, shakeup. Away from the cage and deep into the commentary booth, UFC 319 is also making headlines for its all-star broadcasting lineup. For years, Joe Rogan's unmistakable voice has been integral to the UFC's major cards, and his return alongside John Anik and Daniel Cormier for this event brings a familiar energy. Yet, what truly sets this card apart is the debut of a new analyst, Dustin Poirier. After officially hanging up his gloves following a storied run capped by his recent retirement at UFC 318, Poirier steps into a new kind of spotlight, this time as a commentator. Sitting beside tactical minds like Chael Sonnen and Michael Chiesa under the direction of ESPN anchor Brendan Fitzgerald, Poirier brings immediate post-fight experience, tactical analysis, and a fighter's understanding of heart and grit to viewers at home. For longtime fans, Poirier's move is both a passing of the torch and a reinforcement of the UFC's tradition of keeping combat veterans present in its broadcast, elevating post-fight analysis with fighter insight. Early reactions have been overwhelmingly positive, with fans responding to the chemistry between Poirier and veteran broadcasters and applauding the realism and directness that comes from having recent fighters on the mic. With major events like UFC 319 potentially shaping the direction of next year's narratives, the presence of figures like Poirier behind the desk ensures that fight fans get context, not just play-by-play. Paddy Pimblett and the lightweight drama, rivalries, updates, and what's next. No roundup of UFC news would be complete without tracking the roller coaster that is the lightweight division. And right now, no one is riding higher on the wave of drama than Paddy Pimblett. The Liverpool sensation, known for his brash confidence and crowd-pleasing fighting style, has kept his name on everyone's lips. Not just through his performances, but through his calculated stirring of rivalries and potential future title fights. The centerpiece of current intrigue is Pimblett's ongoing call-out of Ilia Topuria. Their rivalry, which heated up after a much-publicized face-off at UFC 317, is the stuff of MMA theater, with both fighters trading words and keeping fans guessing about a potential match. But Pimblett hasn't stopped there. His social media is full of colorful jabs at fellow contenders like Arman, Tsarukyan, and Dan Hooker, keeping the division buzzing and ensuring he's always just one quote away from the news cycle. Dana White's reaction to their last confrontation, calling it unauthorized and inappropriate, only added fuel to the fire, with fans now clamoring even harder.
Ilia, after the fight, he called in Paddy Pimblett and brought him into the cage, and they had a face-off. Obviously, they've got a long history together. I know there's a lot of options on the table for Ilia, but when he shows that type of interest in a fight, does that make you want to make it?
Well, I don't know who the hell let him in there.
Paddy's here in the audience. Let's see if we can get him to come up.
That should have never happened. Let's start there. I was already back in my room, or that would have never happened, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really think about that stuff tonight, other than, obviously the Van fight, but, we'll see. We'll see how this plays out.
Yet, despite all the noise, no confirmed date has emerged for Pimblett versus Topuria. For now, what's certain is that Pimblett's ability to generate headlines, build feuds, and maintain relevance makes him a linchpin for the UFC's ability to build future spectacles. His climb through the lightweight ranks is as much about storylines and callouts as it is about results in the octagon. And with each new soundbite, the drama continues to mount. Stay tuned, because in MMA, today's rumor is tomorrow's headline, and every card could be the stage for the next legend.
Get knocked out.
You get knocked out.
I finish you.
Even before the fight.
I finish you, little
Get
man.
the from here.
I finish
Get
you.
the